Okay, hello. I've been wanting to make this type of video for a while. I actually did make the video, and then it didn't go well because it was like 26 minutes long, and I tried to actually render it on After Effects rather than using Premiere Pro. Anyways, skipping all that nonsense, I figured I would just show you guys the basics of this style, because once you know maybe 2 to 3 transitions that I'll be showing you guys, the rest will follow. Like, I swear this style is so easy if you let it be easy. Like, just don't overthink it. It's so easy and fun. So I'm just gonna show you guys the basics and let's get into it. Alright, so for the first 2 transitions, I'm just gonna start with a basic zoom warp. So I'll start with pre-comping my clips. This is my comp settings. I recommend for this style doing between 21 and 23. If you're editing in higher FPS, your transitions are gonna look slow and it doesn't eat. It's honestly really annoying. But yeah, so for this, I'm just gonna put this in like thirds, that way it won't glitch. But yeah, so I'm editing in 21, and then what I'm gonna do, well, first I'm gonna add my motion tile, so you can add yours, whatever that may be. And then I'm going to turn both of these layers to 3D. I use 3D nulls because I find that it makes the transitions and graphs a lot like tighter, if that makes sense. So with that in mind, I'm going to create a new layer. Camera, don't change any of these settings, just press OK, and then we'll split these up here. So I'm going to add a null on top of that, and we'll just place it, turn on 3D for the null layer, pressing P on your keyboard and holding down Control and right clicking. We're gonna turn all of our positions into separate dimensions. That makes it a lot easier. And then take this little spiral on camera 1 and just attach it to the null, and do the same thing for camera 2. Attach it to the null. Very easy stuff. A lot of people find this stuff hard. It's easy, but sometimes it gets annoying when you have to like do it every time, but whatever. Okay, next thing. So going to scale. So we're now attached also. If you're having problems and you have your nulls and everything and they're not attaching, it's probably because your 3D isn't on, so just make sure your 3D for your bottom clips are on. So I'm gonna zoom in like here. It's always good to have, like with this style, it's all about how zoomed in the clips are. I don't know why, it just looks better. So now going to position, I'm going to do a Z position, which is basically a zoom, but it moves differently than a scale. So I'm just going to bring this out pretty far. And probably do that. There. So that's my zoom. Next, add an adjustment layer directly on top of your original clip. Don't add it on top or it's not gonna look right for what I'm about to do. So I'm just gonna title this, just so I know. And then in your effects and presets, search up Wiggle-Rama. This is a game changer for this style, honestly. So we're gonna go down. We're gonna change wiggle speed to 0.5. You don't have to change wiggle nervousness or position, and then we're gonna change the wiggle rotation to 3, and then wiggle scale 0, wiggle width 0, and it should wiggle like that. Honestly, you can do it the other way. You can play around with it, like, that's good. So we have our panning, our wiggle panning, and then adding another adjustment layer. Honestly, adjustment layers are your best friend. It also helps with rendering quickly because you're not putting a bunch of effects and transitions onto one clip. So we're gonna make this one our brightness. I'm just gonna, I like to change the color because it confuses me otherwise. You can use exposure as well. I just like to use brightness. I'll just bring it about like 70. And okay, boom. And then one last, well, technically this isn't our last adjustment layer, but is the warp, fisheye warp is what I'll be using. So here's the warp that I'm using. Fisheye, change blend to 0, because, you know. I usually put like towards the end of the clip for the transition and then go all the way to -100. Actually, wait to see if that even looks good. I might bring it a little there. Okay, and then this one also needs to be like really tight, so this needs to go like as far up as you can bring it, and this needs to go as far right as you can bring it. And then duplicate it like 3 times, so that way it comes out like this. I don't really like that. I do not like that. So I'm gonna bring it a little bit here. Once again, like I said, it's really all about like playing around with it. And I might adjust my graph on my scale. Like, alright. And then basically what we're gonna do is just copy and paste everything to this. So I'm going to zoom in and then going here, copying the Z position. Now we have a zoom. Might adjust the graph. We'll take our brightness, put it on top. We'll take our wiggle, put it directly above the clip, just like that. So, and I'm just adjusting here, but yes, this is it. So, and then you can take this and put it on the end, so that way you have like a, there, you got it. There it is. Boom. Okay, moving on to the next transition. Okay, so starting back at the beginning is a slide, and most of these transitions will probably start with a zoom just because. So I've got my 3D layers turned on and my motion tile. So now I will create that camera again using Command Option Shift C, or you can go up to Layer, New, Camera. And then I'm gonna split it so that way it will be for both clips. And then I'm going to make a null layer using Command Option Shift Y. And once again, you can go to Layer, New, Null Object. So I'm going to turn that into a 3D layer, press Position, hold down Control while right-clicking to create separate dimensions, and then split the clips here. And then once again, take the spiral and connect it to null 2. Take the spiral from camera, connect it to null 2. So once again, we got it, and then just to double check that you got it, just do anything to move it around. Okay, so we're gonna do, once again, like just zoom in, and then I'll start out with that zoom transition. And then for position, we'll move it about like 1 to 2 frames from the beginning. And you don't have to bring it that far, but you can. And I'll do this. So I'm gonna bring this one at the bottom here. I'm gonna move it up past, so that way it does this. So like it moves a little before it goes in its intended direction. I might move it up even more so it kind of does that. See? Yeah, there we go. Actually, I might just bring this all, like almost all the way, and I'll bring it down a little bit more. Okay. And then again, add your adjustment layer above your OG clip for that wiggle. And when you're actually making the edit, like fully, you can like literally just copy and paste all of this stuff. Okay, that's better. And then we'll do the brightness. Bring it to 70. For this side, we'll do the zoom like before, but instead go one frame into it, add a keyframe, go to the end, zoom in, and do like, don't do it that harsh. Like don't go all the way down like that, just go like towards the middle. Okay, like that. And then actually I might make it faster because it's a slower clip. Yeah, there we go. Because I made the clips too slow because I don't have an audio, so. And then copy and paste your brightness and your wiggle. And I might bring this to 2 and this to 3. Yeah, that looks better. Because like depending on your clip amount and how fast it is, you would want to change the speed and the amount of rotation. So this is one way you can do this. And then if you do want to have motion blur, you can cut the last frame of each. So like the end of the frame on your first clip and the beginning of your frame on your second clip, you can just turn on motion blur for those and it'll come out like that. Or like you literally just see it for a split second, which I like to do it like that. I think it looks cute. Like boom, boom. Yeah, that's cute as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. I like that. So that is also an option if you do like motion blur. But anyway, that is the second set of possible transitions. Like I said, it's really all about getting those graphs, because once you do that, once you figure out the graphs, like it's so much easier to work with effects and whatnot. So I have one more to show you guys. Moving on. Okay, so I did keep my brightness and wiggle layers, but I have them off for right now. So we're gonna do this rotation transition. Once again, we're gonna be starting with a zoom. So add your camera layers. Remember to put them on top of the OG clip. Add your null layers. And then make sure 3D is on and do that separate dimensions. I mean, you don't have to, but I usually work with the value graph rather than the speed graph, so that's why I keep them in separate dimensions. And then just split those and put them on top of the camera. And make sure your camera 1 spiral is connected to your null 3 clip. So once again, camera 2 spiral connects to null 3 clip. So we're gonna start with that zoom. Remember to make sure that your clip is like pretty zoomed in, because that's just something that looks good with this style. And then we're going to R, pressing R on our keyboard, going to Z rotation. You don't have to bring it like super far. Like you don't have to do a whole 360 spin, just bring it. Don't go higher than 30. And then I'm gonna bring it up again, like I did with the slide transition, because I want it to move in the opposite direction before it goes in its intended direction. Let me make sure I got that right. Okay, that's good. And then I'll put the wiggle underneath and on top of the OG clip to confirm. Yeah, that looks good. And then turn on brightness. And then we'll do the same thing here. Finish the rotation. I think it's going this way. So you can go higher than 30 on this clip because it just looks better, in my opinion. And then we'll zoom in and do that 1 frame in zoom, because that's another big thing when you're doing your transitions that aren't zooms, is you want to still include zooms pretty much. So I'll turn on brightness and wiggle. Okay, yeah, that's eating. And then, like I said in the last example, you can turn on the motion blur for like the first 2 frames in of your, like that does look good. I love that, to be honest. But there's another example. Okay, so that was pretty much the basics. Once you get those down, you'll be able to do more advanced transitions. And if you guys want it, I can make a part 2 with more advanced transitions. But for now, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching.